So as we receive these lessons from the prophet Isaiah and from St. John's Gospel, we have and then the Judas, not Iscariot, in the West called Jude, asked, how are you going to reveal yourself to us and not to the world? And so in Isaiah, we have the vision of, in a sense, the prophetic anticipation of the Pentecost moment, when it says that in the city of Jerusalem, the Lord's presence will be there in such a way that it will be like a shining light, like fire, and that will be a pavilion that shades people by day and protects them from the storm. And so we can think of the Acts of the Apostles and how the Holy Spirit came amongst the apostles, including Saints Simon and Jude, has a pillar of fire, and that was the biblical symbol for the unmediated presence of God, directing his people into the future. That's what the pillar of fire is there. It's the pillar of fire, in a sense, that's the paradoxical nature of the symbol of the fire of God's presence being at the temple. Because in a sense, the temple on the one hand is a stationary thing, right? It's a building. You think temple, building. It's in one spot. It's in a certain real estate. You can go there. You can visit where it was. But you see, the pillar of fire was a wilderness revelation. That was God's presence in the wilderness. In the wilderness, they were traveling. They were walking. The pillar of fire is God's presence to lead us into the future where he would have us go. And in a sense, a future in which he is already there, since he led them to the place of the temple, to Jerusalem. And so the Holy Spirit then comes, and Jesus says, I will give you the Holy Spirit who will lead you into the truth. In a sense, he will lead you into the future that I have prepared for you. That's the Holy Spirit's vocation and task. And so that's why Jesus ends this part of his discourse in the Last Supper. Rise, let us be on our way. Right? To follow Jesus is to be led in newness of life. The word rise is the word for being raised up in resurrection. Let us be raised up and be on our way. That to know Jesus' life as new creations is to be led into a future, is to be led in mission. That is the work of the Holy Spirit. And so in answer to Jude's question, ultimately, Jesus, how are you going to reveal yourself to us but not to the world? Jesus' answer is, I reveal myself to you so that you may reveal me to the world. Jesus leads us out in mission, out to spread the good news of the victory of God's love, the victory of the merciful way, the victory of forgiveness over sin, of healing over woundedness, of joy over despair, of life over death. That is our mission, and that is how Jesus will reveal himself to the world. A reading from the prophet Isaiah. On that day, the branch of the Lord shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land shall be the pride and glory of the survivors of Israel. Whoever is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy. Everyone who has been recorded for life in Jerusalem, once the Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and cleansed the bloodstains of Jerusalem from its midst by a spirit of judgment and by a spirit of burning. Then the Lord will create over the whole site of Mount Zion and over its places of assembly a cloud by day and smoke and shining of a flaming fire by night. Indeed, over all the glory there will be a canopy. It will serve as a pavilion, a shade by day from heat, and a refuge and a shelter from the storm and the rain. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. A reading from St. John's Gospel. Jesus said to Philip and the disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, because he abides with you, and he will be in you. I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you. In a little while the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. They who have my commandments and keep them are those who love me. And those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and reveal myself to them. Judas, not Iscariot, said to him, Lord, how is it that you will reveal yourself to us and not to the world? Jesus answered him, Those who love me will keep my word, and my Father will love them, and we will come to them and make our home with them. Whoever does not love me does not keep my words, and the word that you hear is not mine, but it is from the Father who sent me. I have said these things to you while I am still with you, but the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. You have heard me say to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice that I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you this before it occurs, so that when it does occur, you may believe. I will no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming. He has no power over me, but I do as the Father has commanded me, so that the world may know that I love the Father. Rise, let us be on our way. The word of the Lord.